Hello, you beautiful people, and welcome to I Am the Hammer, the show in which we talk about all things Grey Knights. You see, there is this unit, it's called the Librarian, and we are here to tell you today that firstly, you should be taking it in your lists, and secondly, if you are already taking it in your lists, you're probably playing it wrong. So, the Brotherhood Librarian, obviously pre-codex or in the index, well known for blowing itself up, occasionally causing mortal wounds
Indeed.
to the enemy. But I'm joined by Ed today, and we are going to be telling you why actually a lot of people, well, why this is Librarian is kind of like sneaking under the radar here, and people aren't really talking about it in a way that it could well be used. So, Ed, first things first, let's just take the basic profile. Pretty boring,
hmm
right?
Yeah, pretty boring. 5-inch move, toughness 5, 2 up save, 5 wounds, leadership 6, and OC 1. Very librarian-esque of them. Obviously, it's the usual Terminator character profile in terms of defensive stats, but that's not really what we're here for. Yeah, so what do you want to start off with first? You want to go with the range weapons? Because that's average, right? That's not the total reason why we want to go for it. Oh, we're
Well,
going
you
with
know
the
what?
abilities.
Let's
Oh,
let's just not spoil too much fun there because we've got the
oh.
abilities now. This obviously the ability, the Vortex of Doom, was the old thing that everyone kind of used,
Indeed.
and now we've got one existing ability and one new one. So, do you want to talk us through the two data sheet abilities?
For sure, it's got Sanctic Hood first of all. This is not a new thing. They've always had this. When the model's leading a unit, they get a 4+ fill penny against psychic attacks. This is obviously great into anyone who has a psychic weapon keywords. So you've got the T-Suns, a mirror, random stuff like NIDs are weirdly good into as well. So if you have like a big brick of Terminators with this fill paint, it can be quite durable into those certain matchups. But obviously, it's very niche and very not hard to use, but like very difficult to find the matchups that are going to be super useful for it, and the matchups that it's useful for, they might just die anyway.
Mhm.
But the filler pain is always helpful. The only problem is at the moment the Terminator and the Paladin squads are a bit suffering a little bit. Not the point of this video, but they're suffering a little bit in terms of where they sit currently in the book. But that's what this Santa Cook does. Then we have Haloed in Soulfire.
Mhm.
So this is where the model's leading a unit, line up 18. Great ability, right? Great ability. Line up 18 is always helpful, especially with the shooting, especially with a lot of the shooting that sort of exists right now. Staying out of the indirect from the PBCs and all that sort of thing is always going to be good. It's going to be helpful, and also means you have a good rapid ingress and shoot threat because you can like rapid ingress 18 away and then move and do stuff. So yeah, the abilities on paper are very good, especially since again these guys are like 80 points. Like
Yeah.
the abilities for 80 points for this character is obviously very good. So if you are planning to be using these Terminators and Paladin bricks or use them at all, I think you should be considering putting Librarians just for these two abilities. To be honest, there's just these two abilities alone. It's not bad. Learn up 18. Look at it this way, like loan up 18 characters like Draxus and stuff like 95. Draxus has some good shooting as well. And try to look at comparable stuff that gives loan up 18. It's like some of them, some detachments have strats, some have characters, but a lot of them are quite expensive, and they're not a Terminator character with like 4 attacks at 622 as well. So yeah, these abilities are good. I think that's where I'm at with these two. What do you reckon of these two, Chris?
Yeah, absolutely. I think the Lone Up 18 is a bit of an unsung hero sometimes.
Mm,
You can get, as you say, you can get that unit, you can get it down on the flank, it can cause havoc. If it's down on the flank, that means the enemy's other side of the board can't get to you with the 18 each Lone Up. You can cause some fun stuff there, especially with kind of like the bricks and that sort of thing. So
yeah.
it's fine. And as you say, 80 points is quite good. But that's what everyone's talking about. Everyone who talks about librarians is talking about the Lone Up 18 ability. We're here to try and sell something different today. And that is right here. So, yes, as we go, you have the choice of the combi weapon or the storm bolter. And obviously, generally, people always take the combi weapon.
Yep.
But we want to draw everyone's attention to the Vortex of Doom. Now, Ed, this is your baby. You are super excited about the Vortex of Doom.
Yes.
So you've now got time to try and tell everyone, convince all the Grey Knight fans out there why they should be taking librarians purely for this.
So, effectively, guys, people used to take librarians when they were 100 points when they did 4 mortal wounds to something. That was the general theory. They do like 4 mortal wounds. They can dance around. They're a bit of an annoying target to attack back. I think it might have been 110 actually, to be honest.
Yeah, they
But
started going up, didn't they?
yeah, they started towards the end. I might be wrong on that, but either way, they're minimum 100 to do 4 mortal wounds to a target on a 2-up. Now, the one is on a 2-up, so you always had the chance for that failing, and it hurt itself. Again, hurts when that happens to you. Vortex of Doom now is still 18-inch range. Basically, this is what the replacement is. So now it's got a shooting attack, which is psychic instead. Hit on 3, strength 8, AP 2, 2 damage, D6 plus 3 shots. This, guys, people are completely glossing over. This is a ridiculously good shooting profile for an 80-point character. It's crazy. Like, to put it into perspective, like an 100-point psyker from let's say Space Marines, let's say the Phobos Libby, which gives the loan up 12, not 18, given, but also doesn't go into Terminator squads. Right, it doesn't go to Terminator squads, it's just infiltrate squads, so less useful depending on the situation, of course. But there, his psychic profile is D6 shots, damage D3 when it's overcharged. No overcharge here, always D6 plus 3 shots, always 2 damage, always AP2, always hitting they. Now, the good thing about this is that in Warpbane, it's basically always going to have rerolls to hit, or at least reroll once to hit. Now, that means as a solo piece, this guy with a combi weapon, with this guy with a shooting, combi weapon, and combat, can easily clear a 5-man Marine squad, probably more. Like, if you roll high on that blast shot, if most of the time they're going to have cover, so they're going to be on 4-ups against it, you're probably going to get an average of like 6 or 7 shots. Let's say 7, because I'm being hopeful. Let's say 7, and you get 3 to hit rerolling, probably all hit, maybe 1 misses, and 2 to wound, 5 wounds. If they're not in cover, it's a 5-up save. That means 3 or 4 are dead anyway. In cover, 2 or 3 are dead. Combi weapon might kill 1, probably going to do 1 damage, more than likely. But the main thing about this is that it's blast. So in certain situations, you're going to find that this guy's going to punch above his weight very well. Like, let's say, for instance, you find, like, I don't know, a random 20-man unit called Berserkers, and he goes, cool, here's D6 plus 7 shots, full rerolls, 2 to wound, and every failed save is a dead one. Or like, oh, here's like here's like a unit of 10 Infractors in Emperor's Children or something like that. Oh, cool. Here's D6 plus 5 shots. Like, the blast throws off this maths. Like, honestly, I would expect for like 80 points for this guy not to have blast, and I would still take him. He's very good without blast. So also he can up you down. He's a scoring piece. He's your early skirmishing piece, because ultimately all of your units are like minimum 120 points, and that's strikes. So like. And then you've also got interceptors, which are slightly more expensive, and purifiers. Now, currently in Warpbane, you need to try and find a way to preserve your purifiers for as long as possible. Now, that is going to be having efficient trade pieces. That's how you create these situations in Warpbane right now. Now, having these, I think 3 of these guys, or minimum 2, is going to be the core of most Warpbane lists. Just because D6 plus 3 shots, strength 8, AP2, 2 damage. Vortex of Doom, like 4 attacks at strength 6 to 2, I think. I think it's AP2, might be AP1, but it's definitely got 4 attacks at damage 2. Now, for 80 points, that guy's insane. Like, he'll kill any 80-point Marine unit you put in front of him. He'd probably kill most 100-point Marine-based units that you put in front of him. Like, if you put, like, 10 Berserkers in front of him, he'll clear, like, 6 or 7. Like, you know, it's just a little 80-point piece that can just go around and kill stuff. And that's why I quite like him for that exact reason. Now, another reason why he's great is a lot of people using the Storm Raven right now. So you can put 3 of them into a Storm Raven for 6 slots. Put 5 Purifiers in there as well. They all run off somewhere. They all come down. They all shoot one side. Shoot one like target they don't want to be around. And that's another thing that can add to the Alpha Strike potential, and also cut lines that are really good on UKTC maps and stay relatively safe in return. So these guys are great. That's one of the reasons why I would say Vortex of Doom is so good. As comparatively, like Vortex of Doom, you used to kill 2 Marines on average. Cool. Now you're going to be killing 3 or 4. Like, and that means, and it's like 30 points cheaper. It's just so much more reliable as well. There's no risk to yourself. It's just you got rerolls to hit most of the time. And these little, and also whenever you're going to be training them out, they're going to have rerolls, because you're going to make sure they're either within range of a Purifier squad, or you're going to have your zone, so they're going to have rerolls anyway. And again, they're a scoring piece, so they're an 80-point piece. Even if sometimes you'll just be like, oh, cool, it's going to get me areas in Ireland secure. He's an 80-point piece. It doesn't matter. And that's another thing that these guys can fill. So they're good damage. They're a cheap scoring piece that you can use, and they up you down the same as every other Grey Knight unit in the world. So I think a Warpbane is going to consist of, like, an average Warpbane list can consist of these little character pieces that can just punch well above their weight. And I think that's one thing. This is one of the good examples of that you can definitely use. But that's my coverage of it. And obviously, the combi weapon itself just a potential for 1 or 2 devs, right? So the dev that's just good on it. That's just good on its own as well. Also, Overwatch with rerolls, not bad, right? It's D6 plus like 3 shots with blast, 6s with full rerolls. That's something. Like that is something that you can do, and that is something that you can definitely make your opponent think about before they decide to trade something out. And yeah, I think all in all, for 80 points, this guy is an absolute steal. Like I had 3 in my first iteration, 2 in my second, and now I'm going back to 3 again. So I think these guys are going to be quite popular. Because it gives you the trade pieces that Grey Knights have always struggled to do. Because obviously you don't want to have to be 6-inch deep striking and charging stuff every turn, because you only have 3 units of purifiers to do that with. So if you're doing that every turn, you run out of purifiers by turn 4 or 5, and then suddenly you don't have them for the late game, which is what you really want them for. So I think the Terminator Librarian is fantastic for this. So that's why I've just been using them on their own. Also, toughest 5, 5 wounds, 2 up save, put them in cover. It's not an easy thing to clear.
Yeah, it's hard to shift, right?
It's basically an 80-point unit will not kill him.
Yes. No.
As comparatively, like 5 incesses at me, I won't die. Like shoot and charge, shoot and charge JPIs, maybe, probably actually, but it depends. It just roll well and they'll live. But again, it's that for an 80-point trade piece, he's awkward to kill. Like, make sure that when you use him, just make sure that if you're just trying to make him so you're trying to base stuff out, make sure you can't get grenade and stuff like that. So sometimes it's worth just not shooting him, just putting him somewhere and being annoying. He's also a screen in his own right. He's just a dude. Like, you just go, oh cool, like I want everything to go for this game. I don't need the librarians this game. Cool, I'll have 1 librarian there, 1 librarian there. They'll both screen out, they'll both screen out, and I can send the rest of the army. So it gives you cheap screening as well. So I think these guys have so many applications. They have a lot of versatility, and their damage is good. So I think between a lot of them, these guys have had a massive glow up, and not many people are talking about it. So I think these guys are very, very good.
Yeah. So obviously, a huge part of their output is the reliability from Wartbane. So do you think these guys should be seen in other lists apart from Wartbane, other detachments?
I think if you're leaning towards a Terminator heavy list, you can definitely take them just for the fact that their abilities are good. It's not on a roll. It's not like a Draxus once when a 2-up you get it. You can just deploy them as if they have the 18-inch low knock, because they just do, which is obviously a very powerful aspect as well. Is there a way that you can use them outside of Wartbane in terms of just their damage and can they be as versatile? No, unfortunately not. They are the best in Wartbane because their shooting attack is one of the big attracting factors for me for 80 points. Like, effectively, a bloat drone is strength 10 AP to 3 damage. This is strength 8 AP to 2 damage, but it's like now 50 points cheaper than a bloat drone. And if a bloat drone is firing at a marine squad that's not in contagion range, it's the exact same. Effectively, right? If you look at it, obviously they're less durable, but the 2-up save does help. And again, it's just all about to provoke. The bloat drones had the issue that they're so cheap that they could shoot stuff, die, and then kill, and then whatever comes out gets killed by the rest of the army. Now that's the exact same theory as these librarians. They are bait. Now, because it takes something like reliable to kill these guys, you can effectively just put the librarian in front, set up overwatches behind, so if they want to kill the librarian, they get overwatched. And then it might mean they have to commit 2 units instead. And these librarians can sort of bait stuff out. They can do this in every detachment. If that's the role you're using them for, as the bait, not just for the damage, you can use them for that in every detachment. But in terms of reliability, Wartbane is where they are. But I think that's just generally Grey Knights as a whole, not just down to this data sheet in its defense.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, there you go, guys. That is why you should be taking the Librarian on his own. We're obviously quite excited by Wartbane at the moment, and our next video will be all about Wartbane. As you can see, we're quite excited, and we've got lots of list ideas for that at the moment. So wait for that video. But thank you very much for joining me, Ed.
No worries.
And we will be back very soon. In the meantime, like, comment, subscribe. Let us know. Are we talking a load of rubbish, or maybe maybe, just maybe, we've enlightened you enough that you should give lone librarians a go in your Warpaint lists. Till next time, take care.